Hey guys, good morning. After a few days off the homestead doing some different things down in Kentucky, we are back at it. Andy has today off. It is Friday, April 27th. We got a couple things on our list to do today now that we don't have any snow. It melted within like 2 days, so it wasn't too bad, but we've just been waiting for it to dry up and warm up. And now it's warm enough at night that we can get a few things planted. So we have a few things on our list today. Go ahead and follow along and we'll let you know what we have going on. So first of all, this morning, Andy moved the tarp from the middle of the garden down to this end to help warm up the soil and dry it out. We're planning on planting, I think he said 1 or 2 different things here in the garden today, specifically radishes, because they like the cooler weather and they need the cooler nights in order for things to germinate and do well. We're trying a new type of radish this year. I think it's called a white icicle. I'll let you know for sure what that is when we get to planting them later. But first, the big thing is to move the chickens. We can't have the chickens here and plant the garden. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now is I am going to try and turn all of the uncovered rows from there to right before the leaves, so we can get some planting done today. Alright, so you can see that I did the first 2 rows. I have like 6 rows to go. But now I'm going to try and show you how we break up the top of the row to get the tubers out, some of the weeds, and also we're hoping that it kind of dries this afternoon since it's supposed to be pretty windy, and then we can plant it tomorrow. So when you put the hoe in, you kind of want to break it up and pull on it a little bit. Just go side to side on the row. And it should look like that when you're done. And I'm trying to do this one-handed, so it's not going super great. Hey guys, I know it's kind of an awkward space to be filming, but it got really windy this afternoon. So I'm just going to give you a little information before I go show you what Andy's been working on this afternoon. So I'm going to show you what he's been working on. One part is the compost section at the end of the garden. I'll show you that here. So here's the compost. It is 8 pallets that we pulled out of our barn from mostly from the previous owner. Just stuff that they used. And we tied it together with some hay twine. And Andy just scooped everything in there so that we can have a full-on compost space right at the end of the garden. and he's also working on burning the leaves that are on the garden, so we can mulch them up and move them.
It's potash.
Potash. So we can use
that
on the garden. And then here is where the leaves were. As you can see, there's still a little bit of a flame. And that just went out. And then Andy's over here working on the gate to fix it. So today is Saturday, April 28th. I was away for a few hours this morning. While I was gone, Andy and the girls worked on a few things. They got some stuff planted in pots, our lettuce. What else did you get planted in pots? So the butter crunch lettuce, cabbage, red and green. We're gonna try red cabbage this year. Kale, kohlrabi,
and something else in there too. You can go over and
we'll go down and look in a second here. The other thing that they've been working on is the rows that I broke the tops up on yesterday to let it dry out. We got a really great gusty wind yesterday afternoon that helped dry it out. And Andy has run the tiller through a couple of them. I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. So on top of the ones that he has tilled, he put some sifted compost on top of, then put some dried chicken manure from the mobile coop on top of there, and then kind of tilled it back in. And so far in one bed we have 2 types of radishes planted because they like the cooler weather. Just it's called red cherry bells, and the other ones are white icicles, I believe. And they're an heirloom. This will be our first time trying that. And we actually have enough seeds that we'll be able to do 2 crops. This year we're trying a new company for seeds. It's called Seeds and Such. Just thought we'd give them a try this year, see how things go. And I'll show you what the beds look like right now. So here are some of the beds that I broke up yesterday that I showed you in the video. Andy has put dried chicken manure on those already. Here's a bed that he has tilled and dried. This one he just retilled, which you will have just seen in the video. And then this is the row that has our radishes in it right now. Alright, so here you can see what Andy and the girls planted this morning. Our plan with these is to take them out during the day so they get about 6 hours of sunlight, at least until they germinate and sprout, and then we will transplant them into the rows. So let's take a look at what we have here. So we have butter crunch lettuce in these 2 rows, and there's, as you can see, there's 6 per container. So there's 36 butter crunch lettuce, 18 kale, 18 kohlrabi. Kohlrabis are amazing in salads. There's a really good kohlrabi apple salad I make. Then we have 6 cauliflower. We have tried cauliflower before and we actually didn't like how it grew, so we're going to try a different variety this time. It's been a few years. We have 6 containers of red cabbage, 6 green cabbage, and 6 broccolis. So what Andy planted these in is pure compost dirt. It is a mixture of chicken manure, wood shavings from the chicken coop and the duck coop, food scraps, grass clippings.
And now we're over here planting veg.
Alright, so here we have our old compost pile. You notice how we have it right next to the chicken coop. That was a really great place to have it. Back when the chickens used to be in here, they'd always come over here and scratch into this. We'd take their bedding out, put it right into here. But now, since we built the mobile chicken coop, we took everything that was still composting off the top of this, moved it over to the new compost pile where the old chicken coop was before we moved it. And now we got it down to just the raw compost that we're going to use to put on our garden this year. So I've got this old gate here. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, but as long as the spacing in the holes filters out any of that big stuff that you don't want in your compost, this works out pretty good. So we're just going to pile it on top, and then we'll sift it through, and we'll have compost ready to put on top of our beds to plant into. Makes for great fertilizer and keeps that organic matter up in your garden year after year. Ooh, I didn't do a very good job on that.
I also can't forget the other thing that Andy did today while I was away for a few hours. He planted an apple tree! Our plan is to get a couple more apple trees and maybe a pear tree. We are going to probably go check those out later today, and we're just really excited to also make a little bit of an orchard here on this side of the west side of our house, so it's easy to access, and it just has a lot of good light and irrigation over here as well. What you doing, Andy?
We're taking our sifted compost and we're putting it on top of the bed, and then we'll till it again and till it right in, and then we'll be ready to plant. Look at this stuff. Don't get richer than that. Used to be leaves, grass, poop, bedding. There's even a couple dead chickens in there. Hey, they compost too, right?
Alright, so far what we've gotten planted today are cherry bell radishes, white icicle radishes, turnips, and spinach. And that's probably all we're going to get planted today before we run some errands and go enjoy the weather. Otherwise, apple trees planted, the chickens and ducks are tucked away for the night. So we're just going to clean up and go enjoy some of the rest of the evening inside, maybe watch a movie and have some popcorn. So if you like this type of video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when our videos are coming out if you aren't following along on our Facebook page. And if you are subscribed, hit the little bell. That will notify you when our videos do come out. Thanks again, guys. Bye.
Have a good night.